Hello. The phone rang, and I answered it, and it was David Lynch. And he said, Diane, lad, I have an amazing part for you, and I'd be honored if you'd co-star in my film and do this part for me. And that was it. Sailor boy.
Marietta is a very interesting character. She's dying inside and very unstable, almost the point of insanity.
I asked David, I want her to be this woman that is mixed up, that shows all of us mixed up, sign of the times, and I want her trying so desperately to do it right and to imitate Hollywood or to imitate the TV or to imitate the magazines. So he let me do them all.
She was branching out. She was experimenting, I think, and she did it great.
In the scene where I crawl toward Harry Dean Stanton, the kitty cat scene, that was my Kathleen Turner look. Then there was my Dolly Parton look. If he believes in you, he'll let you try things. For an example, there was a scene where I was supposed to be sitting in bed holding the doll in pajamas. And I said, David, because I could just see it, you know, in my mind's eye. I said, let me stand and let me be drinking a martini. And I want to wear like a Carole Lombard white satin dress in this scene. And he screamed, perfect!
You know who that was. And you know that you aren't. And I mean are not gonna see him ever. End of story.
Laura said later to him, David, you didn't know my mama was a perfect David Lynch actress. And I'm not so sure. I said, wait a minute, what's that mean? But it was a thrill.
She's a pistol. You know, there are people that you enjoy working with because they're enjoyable people, because there's a life.
Marietta!
Now you're sort of watching it and can't believe it's your mother. Even though I'm very used to watching her as an actor, she's playing out this nightmare of this secret-keeping manipulator who's trying really to ruin my life, my love. Literally, I was doing a scene where my mother was riding on a broom next to me, and she was the Wicked Witch. So my mom and I would joke all the time with David on the set, like, I'll never need therapy again. I mean, we've just played out all our demons.
Diane Ladd was the perfect Marietta. And how often do you get great actresses who are actually mother and daughter to do this? And it was like they were those characters.
It is interesting, you know, for the first time ever to work with your mother, and there's a lot of fun in the outlandishness of Marietta. It gave room for us to just act out just the craziest stuff.
Girl! What if I told you not to go?
Mama, if you get in the way of me and Sailor's happiness, I'll fucking pull your arms out by the roots.
Laura and I work differently. And this one day when Nick was locked up in jail, we'd go to visit her at the jail. She was on one end of the stage, preparing her way. And I'm at the opposite end of the stage, preparing my way. Starts the scene, comes in. I come in, and we both do our scene, and we're sobbing, and we finish the scene, and David says, cut. And we've been just devastated as the characters. And now we look up to each other. And I look in her eyes, and I know what she used for the scene. And she knows what I used for the scene. It's like we're standing nude, you know, in Central Park. It's embarrassing to have somebody, even your closest ones, discover your innermost vulnerabilities. And we start to laugh. We both are embarrassed, and we start to laugh with embarrassment.
The moment that the camera turned off and see the interaction between Laura and Mom, and then have it transform back to the two actors again, was a wonderful thing.
You know, it's an amazing feeling when you're doing an emotional scene and you're looking in someone's eyes. It's one thing if they're your lover or they're your very good friend, but when it's your mom, you know, that has known you from conception, there's no lying.
This thing with her lipstick, it just seemed a logical progression to kind of go to the max.
That was a scene that we had to shoot pretty early on in the schedule. So it must have been very, very difficult for Diane to make that happen for her character.
She's smearing the lipstick and crying in the mirror, and her face is turning red, and And I couldn't help but thinking like it was just some sort of fabulous transformation into like a kabuki style of acting.
At the time we made Wild at Heart, there was an extraordinary number of commercials about you wear the right perfume, and they were doing a lot of lipstick commercials. You do the right lipstick, and people will beat a path to your door. We're being inundated with this baloney, and it was ticking me off. So I decided that I would use that as part of her character. And that's where Marietta was at that moment. She had that lipstick in her hand. So there was this thought, should I do this? Should I take the razor blade and do this like this? Or do I just try to get prettier? Do I just keep trying and trying and trying to get prettier? To keep prettier? And that's what it was. That's what this was. This thing was the lipstick. Was, okay, I'll just put the red lipstick all over my face, and then will I be pretty enough for somebody? It's that kind of scream inside her. That was the character that David let me birth.
I had not realized that you could, from the bits and pieces that you're giving of a character, for her to have created the human being that she created. What a talent.
I loved working with Nick. We had one really funny scene in the bathroom. That scene in the bathroom. David wanted me to shock him. And so David and I construed together a line that I would throw at Nick at the end of the scene. I'm not going to say the line here. It's on film. And Nick didn't expect it, and it certainly shook him up. To fuck Lula's mama.
No, ma'am. I sure don't.
Lula's mama would like to fuck you.
Misfortune. I really think you need a cup of coffee.
The first day I think we shot was that fabulous old hotel downtown. And my mom and Nick had the scene in the bathroom together, which I wasn't even really privy to. And then I remember after the scene, Nick came up to me and he and I were about to shoot a scene together. He's like, that's your mom, but like your real mom. And I remember seeing like some horror on his face, like he'd just been through something with my mom who had to play out this person. And, you know, wherever she went, I know David is absolutely thrilled.
I've been with a lot of actors who did a lot of tricks, and Nick was a very young actor at the time, you know, compared to where he is now. He's become a magnificent actor, and I don't think he'd be thinking about this stuff now. But if you take a step up this way while you're doing the scene, if you pivot up, then I'm talking to you this way. You have more power in camera because you got more of your face showing. You're like this at the camera, and I'm like this. You're getting this piece of me. So we're doing the scene. And then Nick kind of looks over here and steps back, and he's here. So I step here. So we're doing the scene, then Nick steps there, and I step here. And we kept going till finally we were up against the wall, and I said, Nick, we can't go any further. And then he knew that I'd been knowing all along, and he started to laugh. He's really, as I said, I'm sure somebody had done that to him before, but we shouldn't do those things to each other.
You're shit. You think that I'd let my little girl hang out with a piece of SHI tut like you? Kid, you belong in one of these toilets.
You filthy piece of white trash. You...
I received an Oscar nomination for the film. So I was rewarded tenfold for something that was already one of the greatest pleasures of my life.